Good morning, friends. Today our topic is Python loop, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about for loop used in Python programming language and a range function. So let's start. First of all, let us discuss about a range function. What is the use of range function in our programming language? So as the name suggests, range function. So it basically declares the range of a number, and for this purpose there is a name called a range function. And you can see here easily that after the range there is a sign of parenthesis which indicate that this is a function. Now when you pass an argument within the parenthesis, then it gives a range for that value. For example, if we just write 10, range 10, it means it count number from 0 to 9. It means that by default start value is 0 and last value is num minus 1. Here num is number, so the number given here is 10, so 10 minus 1 is, means 9. So 0 to 9 all values are included in this case of range. And always remember that there are three parameters passed within a range function: start value, end value, and increment and decrement. But here you can easily see that there is only one value. So by default start value is 0 and by default increment is 1. So when we declare range 10, that means we start counting from 0 and goes up to 9. And here there is some example, you can easily see that. And by default increment is 1. Print range 10, then it shows the value from indicate that the ranges start from 0 and last value is 10. And by default increment is 1. By default increment is 1 in this case. And print list range 10, then when we declare list and using range function, then it gives value here, it starts from 0 to 9. And then in third case, print list range 2 to 8, so it gives value start from 2 up to 7 because last value is 8, so last value minus 1 means up to 7. And the last case is print list range 2 20 30. Here we declare increment intentionally, as we know that when we don't declare any increment, then by default it is 1, but here we can easily say that increment is 3, so it starts the value from 2 and after that every time there is increment of 3 and goes up to 19. So 19 is not included here because 17 plus 3 is equal to 20. These are the all values regarding to that range function. Now our next topic is Python for loop. Here we discuss range function because in Python for loops we use range function. And so now Python for loop. What is Python for loop? A for loop is used for, wait a minute, let us adjust this first of all. For loop is used for iterating over a sequence that is either a list, a tuple, or a dictionary, or a set, or a string. For loop is used to iterating over a sequence. So that's why the loops are used here. And there are two types of loops in Python: for loop and while loop. And this is less like for keywords in other programming language and work more like a iterator method and found in object-oriented programming language. So for loop is not used only in Python programming language, it is used in other programming language also, such as C, C++, Java. So it is a little bit different from other programming language here. With the for loop we can execute a set of command, one for each time in a list, tuple, set, etc. And that is the purpose of a loop. We can execute a statement many number of times as per the condition demand. And that is the purpose of the loop. And there are the three important parts for of a loop: start position, end position, and increment and decrement. So here you can easily see that there is a program which shows the functionality of a loop. Fruits is the name of a list and there are three different items: apple, banana, and cherry. and here we just write a loop name for x in fruits. So what happens, what is the name of the loop? X is a value which will be found in list of fruits, because here it is already declared that for x in fruits. And use of in operator we already discussed in our operator part in our last lectures. So first of all, x is a value, and it is a value of fruit which we found in the variable name fruits, and there are three values regarding the fruit. These are apple, banana, and cherry. So first of all, first value will be printed, that means apple will be printed. After that, once execution for apple will be complete, execution will over, then banana will be printed, and then after cherry will be printed. So in this case, three times execution of, there are three different values, or three different values for x, and three different values are printed here. So this is the purpose of the loop, that we execute a statement so many number of times for different values. So here x takes three different values, because in fruit variable there are three different values are given. If there are 5 or 6 or 7 values are given, then it will execute for them also. You can easily see here. Then just run the program, and you can easily see that. First of all, save the program first, and then you can easily see that this is the output apple, banana, and cherry, because here loop execute the condition three times for three different value given in fruits variable. Next is looping through a string. Now we declared it for a list, and we can also declare it for a um, string. Banana is a string, you can easily see that, and it has different characters b, a, and a, and a, and every time loop execute, then it gives a value regarding to a single character of a string. So for x in banana, print x, first of all b will be printed, and then after a, then n, then a, then n, and then at last a. So actually loop will print each and every value of a string banana when we declare for x in banana. So x is the name of the variable, in is a keyword, banana is a string, and print x. You can easily see that after when the for statement is over, then there is sign of colon, and after that the statement that belongs to the loop, we provide a proper indentation here. So that is the syntax of a loop. There is a single statement, but there may be more than one statement, and which makes a block here. So always remember that like if condition, where after the loop, after the declaration of the statement of a loop, we always put a colon sign, and body, as far as body of the loop is concerned, we always put more than one or more than one statement here. At least one statement should be there, otherwise there will be an error. So let us check it, just execute it, then it will gives us a value for banana string each and every time. Let us see. Yes, this is a okay. So this is the output of a banana statement. Yes, this is the output, BANANA. You can see easily here. Now break statement. Break statement is a break is an important keyword, and it is basically, as the name suggests, break the execution of the statement. And when we use it in a loop, then what happens, actually whenever we write break, then in a for loop, then we actually comes out from loop, and there is no execution of loop after the break statement. So that is the purpose of the break statement. There is a small example of here. as you can see here. So first of all, the definition of the break loop, break condition. With the break statement, we can stop the loop before it has looped through all its items. So this is small program here. Let us check the functionality using break. You can see that there is a variable named fruits, and there are three items: apple, banana, and cherry. And we write a loop here for x in fruits. So three different values, x execute for three different values of fruits: apple, banana, and cherry. And then print x. Of course, the value of x will be printed. It means apple, banana, and cherry will be printed. But here in the block of the for loop, we just write a condition, and condition given is here is if x equal to banana. It means the value of the x is equal to banana, then break. Uh, it means that after whenever we found a condition x equal to banana, then after that is just a break statement. Then there is no further execution of the loop here. So let us check here. So let's run the program. When you see here, apple and banana, because first of all apple will be printed. After that the condition will be checked for banana statement, and since print statement is given above the if statement, so banana will already be printed. But after the banana there is a break statement, then cherry will not be printed at all. That is the main. Now let us make a small change here. We just write print statement of the break statement. Then what happens, I think you can easily guess what is the output, because in our previous example we give a print statement before break, so banana will be printed. But after, in this case, when we give a print statement after the break statement, so at least apple will be printed. But in the case of banana, when x is equal to banana is found, then there is a break statement, then program is over here, and execution of loop is no more, because we put a break statement after the condition if x is equal to banana here. So banana will not be printed at all. So let us check what is the output. Okay, this is the program here, and you can easily see that. Just go to run the before save the program, before execution save the program. Just there is only one output, apple. Now I think the concept of break is now clear to all of you. Second is a continue statement, and continue statement is just opposite to that of the break statement. It means there is a continuation of the execution of loop here. So that's why it is known as the continue. Continue is a keyword. So in place of break, we just write continue to continue the loop, to continue the execution of the loop here. Let us see a small program which show the functionality of continue keyword. This is my program here. With the continue statement, we can stop the current iteration of the loop and continue with the next. So that is the purpose of the continue statement. You can easily see that there are three items again in fruits: apple, banana, and cherry. And for x in fruits, x is equal to banana, continue. Now here when we write a continue statement, then it means for x equal to banana, continue. So there will no print for banana, so banana will not be printed at all, because after that just we write a continue, and then after cherry will be printed. Let us check. Oh, that is the output. Banana will not be printed, because after that condition found x equal to banana is true. There is a continue statement, and so no print statement will be executed for x banana, and then cherry will be printed at all. Cherry will be printed after that banana, so it will be printed. So this is the small program to represent the or show the functionality of continue. Next, the range function. We already discussed about range function in this lecture, so let us take some few points regarding to range. Small program here for x in range 6, print x. I think all of you are aware that what is the output. We know that by default the start position is 0, so it will print from 0 to 5 because last value is not included in case of range function. Most of the program of for loop we make using range function, and you can easily see that 0 to 5. Okay, 6 is not included in this part. 6 is not included because it is the last value. Let us take another example of range function. So most of the time for loop is used with range function, and you can easily see that this is a small program here. Here start value and end value both are given, so here we can easily guess that first of all loop is first of all start value for loop is 1 and it goes up to 10 because 11 is not included at all. But there is a print statement, there is an input value also, and here is num int input enter any number, so num may be in any integer, and there is a print statement, and print statement that num into x. X is the value, which means first of all it will be multiplied by 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and up to last value is 10, and the final result is num into x. So of course the num and the x. Suppose if the num is equal to 5, then we first of all the statement is, we found the statement first of all is 5 into 1 is equal to 5, then second statement according to the loop is 5 into 2 is equal to 10, and it goes up to 10, so last statement is 5 into 10 is equal to 50. So basically it is a program to print a table of a given number, only a 3-line program. So using these 3 lines, if we can easily print a table of a given number. I think now it is clear to all of you, and if we don't put here 1 and just give the value of 10 here or 11 here, so it starts counting from 0, which makes no sense as far as table is concerned. So we just put here 1 and counting last value is 11 here. We declared 11 because we want to take multiplication up to 10. A small program, easy to implement, easy to understand, and this gives a clear idea that how we can print a table of a given number. Only 3 lines are there, and using these three lines we can print a table of any number. So num basically is a number, and it is an integer type of input. So whenever we just give a value or enter a value in this program and that is a number, then we can easily find out the table of that given number. And in print statement you can easily see that num is declared and after that a comma sign. It is because num is a variable name, and then just after within a double quotes cross sign is there, so it will print it as it is, and then after comma and then after x. So x is the name of the variable which is a part of for loop, as you can see here that for x in range. Basically most of the time we use x, but we can take any variable with x, and after that comma and equal to sign is there, which print as it is because it is given in double quotes, and after that comma and num into x, so it will print the result of a number which is given into x, and the value of, it means value of for loop. So this is a small program to print a table. Let us execute this program. I think there is a small mistake here. Yes, print statement parenthesis is not closed, so error shows EOL, means end of line. So line is not properly ended, so just correct it, make a parenthesis sign here, and then execute the program. Now first of all save the program, and then you can use that enter any number, give a number 7. So this is the answer, 7 into 107 up to so on. Last value is 7 into 10 is equal to 70. So there is a table of 7. Whatever we give the number, its table will print it according to the conditions given in the loop. So very simple to understand and very simple to execute this program. This is a program how to print a table using for loop, a very important program. First program regarding to the loop, which is important. Till now we only understand, our focus is to understand the concept of the loop, but this is the first program which is based on a for loop. And next is for x in range 2 to 6 and print x. So what happens here is that for x in 2 to 6, so start value is 2, last value is 5, and value that are printed here are 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we already make a program regarding to related to a table, so we can easily guess what is the output here. Obviously first value is 2, second value is 3, and fourth value is 4, and then 5, and then 5. So 2 to 5 all value are printed here. You can easily see that this is the output and the module just here, and you can see that this is the 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and the range function for 3 different values and 3 parameters, actually 3 parameters: start value, end value, and last value. As I told you that by default start value is 0, by default increment is 1, but here we intentionally give all parameters to it. To function start the execution from value 2, then goes up after goes up after increment of 3 every time here up to 30. So 30 is not included because last value is not included in this case. As you can see that yes, these are the different values: 2 plus 3 5, then 5 plus 3 9, 5 plus 3 8, actually all these value 8, and 8 plus 3 up to these all values will be printed on a screen. But last value is, which means 30, is not part of that program. Always remember that, because the program execute till n minus 1. So n minus 1 is included, but n is not included, where n is a number or last value, or the last value given in loop. And there is another feature of for loop, that is the else. We already aware of the concept of the else, and we implement it in we already implemented in if else case, but when we can also use else in for loop. So what happens when the program execution is over or loop is over, then there is a statement related to the else, or we can say that when the condition of the for loops is found to be false, then a statement related to else will definitely be executed. So in this case, sometimes it happens that the condition related to a loop is found to be false, then else statement will definitely be executed to show that program is correct and only the condition is not true. Here let us check it, run the program. So you can see the last statement is finally so finally finished will be printed here. And why it is printed here? Because condition is true for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for value 6 it is found to be false. Then after that else statement will get executed. Next is nested loop. You all of are aware the concept of nested loop means loop under loop. So instead of declare a statement within a loop, we declare actually a loop inside a loop. Then what happens? You can easily guess it. So for every outer value of outer loop, program loop inner loop will get executed. And for outer loop, you can see that there are adjectives, and these adjectives are red, big and tasty. And for this, for red, apple will be printed, banana will also be printed, and cherry will be printed, because these are the value of second loop. And it is also for big and tasty. And then you can see that print statement print x, y is here, so x and y both are printed. It means value of inner loop plus value of the outer loop. So for each and every value of inner loop, each and every outer value out for each and every outer value loop, inner value loop will be printed. You can see here. Let's run the program. Let's save the program first, and you can see that yes, red apple, red banana, red cherry. Apple, banana, cherry, these are the part of inner loop, and red, big and tasty, these are part of outer loop. So for every value of outer loop, inner loop will get executed. So there are total 9 values here. And our last portion is pass statement. As I told you that there is a boundation or restrictions. We can say that after declaration of the false statement, there should be at least a single statement which will be there. But if it is not so, and there is no statement regarding to the loop, then it shows you an error. And we already see in this concept in case of if statement. So if we put a if statement without any if condition without any statement, then there is an error. In same concept apply here. So here there is a small program for x in 0, 1, 2, and then after it is a list. These are the items of a list 0, 1, 2, and after that a colon sign, and there is a no statement after that, so an error will be raised. To overcome this difficulty, we just apply a concept of pass. So pass is basically a keyword, and when we write a keyword pass, then actually it will not show you any type of error, and program gets successfully executed. So let us check here. This is the program here. You can easily see that.
Three different values are given
in a list 0, 1, 2, but no statement related to that. So it will show you error if you don't pass a value, if you don't give a value pass, if you don't declare. Let us see. After the declaration of the pass statement, just execute the program, and you can see here no error at all. Program will get successfully executed after that statement. So this is our last topic regarding to that for loop. Now for loop is over. Always remember that regarding for loop there are 3 conditions: start positions, end positions, and increment, or it may be decrement in some cases. In our next lecture we will discuss about decrement, how loop work on decrement, how loops work when there is a decrement of values. So loop works for string, list, tuple. These all are the types of all types of the values, and most of the for loop programs are made with range functions. So, and in range function, start, end, and increment or maybe decrement value are given there. And for list, tuple, and string, value starts from counting it's from first element and goes up to last element. But in case of range functions, where it starts counting from first value and goes up to last value, and last value is not included in the case of range function, and there is always an increment or decrement of 1. So most of the programs are used with range functions. So range function is very important to understand the concept of for loop. In our next lecture, we will discuss while loop and the concept of decrement in case of range function in for loop. So you have to do only one thing when you want to execute a program using a decrement of value using range function. Just put up a larger value first. It means just write range 10, and after that give a small value in comparison to in first value. It means a start value, it may be 0 or 1. So 10 comma 1, and third value is increment or decrement, so it may be 1, 2 or 3, and if you don't declare anything, then by default it is 1. And then program will, you can see that program gets successfully executed because it's start from value 10, and every time there is a decrement of values and it goes up to the last value is not received. So this is a concept of for loop. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching this video.